You decided to conduct a customer research, or so-called CusDev. Should you ask people about money? This is pretty sensitive topic, or about their plans for the future regarding to your product. Should you ask their piece of advice about how to improve your product? Let's discuss that. Hi everyone, it's nice to see you here, and today we're talking about the questions which we shouldn't ask our clients or our potential customers. It is important to mention here that we are talking about interviews, but not the polls, which have their own specific. I had my own list, but before I made this video, I decided to ask ChatGPT. So this video is made in collaboration with the large language model. I basically had three variants or three groups of questions. First, questions about future. Second, questions about improving the product and specifically some features, which is good to add to the current product. And third, closed questions. Questions about future are the questions like, if we made the price like this, would you buy it? If some of your friends recommended you this product, would you buy it? Etc. It's always better to ask about the past, about what people have already done. How many people you already recommended our product to? If you know that this is only your potential customer and exactly this person haven't bought your product yet, you can ask which similar products did you buy in the past? Which alternatives did you use to solve the task which our product helping with, etc. Next, about the features which you need to add, about what our product is lacking. There is a lot of studies, marketing, psychological, that say that people tend to make up things about the future. It's not because they do that intentionally, it's just our nature. The thing is that we don't know if we're gonna buy this product or not. We might think that we do. Every 1st of January, we're buying a membership for like a year to the gym, but it doesn't mean that we will actually go to the gym the whole year. Instead of that, it is better to ask people about their current and previous experience. And then it is really wise to carefully listen how people describe their experience of interacting with the product, with the service, because this story can give you much more hints about what you could add to your product than just asking this directly. Closed questions. These are the questions that implies the answers yes or no. These questions are perfect for polls, but they are not very informative for the interviews, because your main goal at the interview is to get as much as possible information, asking questions. Why? Could you please describe? How did you feel? Etc. And after you get a lot of this information, you could qualify it via polls. So closed questions won't be very helpful for you if you want to understand some basic reasons of the customer behavior and to get some insights. Now we move to ChatGPT answers. It turned out that ChatGPT was much more thorough than me in answering the questions and didn't miss almost anything, even the points or questions which are kind of by default for me. By the way, you can download the full list of the answers or the list of the questions which you shouldn't ask your customers or potential customers using the link in the description of this video. Also, you can subscribe to my channel to get more interesting information about marketing, customers, product management, and different other marketing related topics. I divided all questions ChatGPT suggested into three big groups. Agree, disagree, and something which I already mentioned in my list. So agree. Leading or biased questions like, you love our product, right? It is also overly complex or technical questions, which can have some words from your professional vocabulary, something which your customers might be not familiar with. Also, it's assumptive questions like, when did you last use our product? Assuming that they used it recently. Instead of that, it's better to ask, did you use it and when did you use it? That is questions that could make customers feel judged. Like, why haven't you used our product recently? But I think almost everyone understands that you shouldn't have the conversation with the customer, potential customer, in such tone. So it's basically by default, and it's the questions focusing only on price. And here I agree, but I would say that this you can tell about almost any aspect. So there is no point on focusing only on price or only on product or only support or some other services. It will be really good if you talk about a little bit of everything, or not a little bit. Next group is the questions which I had in my list. It's a closed questions, yes, no questions. It's also hypothetical or speculative questions like, what would you do if our product had X feature, which I also mentioned before, and some questions which are asking to predict or to discuss some long-term speculations. And the last group of questions where I disagree with ChatGPT. For example, ChatGPT doesn't recommend to use too many why questions in sessions. I actually think that why questions are pretty good in case if you want to dive deeper in the customer experience or the reason why potential customer hasn't bought yet. But here you just need to be pretty attentive and to feel if person feels comfortably or not. Next group of questions are questions which ChatGPT defines as personal or invasive questions. And the example here is, how much money do you make? I agree that exactly this question will make a person very uncomfortable with a very high probability. But at the same time, it's okay and it's normal to ask people about money during the interviews. And very many people actually answer such questions. The thing is how to ask. You shouldn't ask about income, but you can ask about the budget for a certain category. You can ask, for example, how much do you usually spend for self-education and study per month? Or what was the price of the last course like this, or the last course of this type you bought recently or within the last year? And that will give you idea about money. So you don't have to uh, be invasive, but it's absolutely okay to ask about money. And there is one more group of the questions from ChatGPT list, which I didn't mention before. For me, they like on the border questions. Uh, I'm somewhat agree and somewhat disagree. For example, negative assumption questions like, what don't you like about our customer service? Uh, ChatGPT recommends to avoid such questions because this assumes that there is something wrong, and according to the AI, it could turn the conversation to negative. But I don't think that the goal of the customer interview is be 100% positive, because in the end, you want to get all information about your product, all information about your services, and it's good to know your weak points as well. It's actually even more worth to know weak points, not only your strength. So I think you could do that in a more neutral way, but it's definitely worth to ask about such things. You can ask, how would you estimate this on the 10 score scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest level of satisfaction? And in case if it's not 10, You can just clarify what would you need to give 10. And this question will give you some hints about what can be improved. Again, you shouldn't rely on one or two answers, but if, I don't know, 20 people out of 30 name the same thing again and again, that's definitely the reason to think about that. And the last type of questions, which ChatGPT doesn't recommend, is vague or broad questions. Like, what do you think about our product? I think that vague questions are definitely not good and almost useless, but common questions or broad questions might be very helpful in one certain situation, in the situation where you ask people to share their experience. For example, you can ask, could you please describe as detailed as it possible your first experience of using our product, or your first experience of using this type of the product? And then the person will start sharing. Your main goal is to listen as carefully as it possible, because just this one question can give you a lot of very, very practical insights. Coming back to the questions which I asked in the beginning of this video. It sounds a little bit maybe not reasonable or not obvious from the first point of view, but yes, it's good and you should ask about money. And no, it's not a good idea to ask about the future and some product features which your client or your potential customer would add to your product. Hopefully, I explained pretty clear in this video why. See you in my next videos. Bye.